So now we're going to look at, kind of what that example proprietary property verbiage would kind of look like on a policy page or even in a contract for a company, that is essentially claiming ownership of your website, essentially. So, really, once again, the proprietary property, that's going to be the main phrase you're going to want to look out for in their policy. And you can usually find a company's policy on their website. So, one way to do this would be looking up the company's name and then in Google and then adding policy to the end of their name. And then once you get to that policy page, you'll just want to do a control F if you're on PC or command F if you're on Mac and search up proprietary property. And it'll show you all the mentions of that phrase in that company's policy. So essentially, that's one of the main things you're going to want to do. And then, this entire section right here. So, like where it says, these agreements often define their services to include proprietary property software, code, and content that they provide for your use during the term of your contract. Once that contract ends, you lose access to everything. So essentially, you're going to have to start completely over. You're going to have to build a new website, and they may even get rid of like other services they've done if that's their property, like blog posts, Google My Business optimizations, all that stuff. So this is very, very important. And then these are going to be the last section here. So this is important questions you're going to want to ask the company that you're looking to do your website with. So it's very, very important here also to note that you're going to want to ask these questions when you're on the call with them. In that way, you can kind of get their natural reaction, kind of see what they say live and compared to an email, right? Because if you sent these questions over email, they're going to have more time to deflect if they actually are, going to keep your website and kind of, you know, deflect away from what you're asking. So you're definitely going to want to ask these live on the call. So the first question is going to be, if I go with you all to create my website and I end up leaving, will you transfer the entire website over to me, including all the files of the website, content, images, domain, and hosting? All of those are important because that's going to essentially give you ownership and maintain your ownership over all of the work you've done so far on your website. And then second is going to be, do you claim that content you create or the website that you create as proprietary property? And if they don't say no immediately, essentially that means it's a little fishy, right? Um, with us, if you ever were to ask this question, we would say absolutely not. That's all going to be yours to keep and yours to keep forever. And that's what you should hear when you ask this question. Number three, is there any strategy you will complete for me that will be proprietary property? So this is referring to everything except the website if you're, planning on doing marketing as well. So if they say like, yeah, blog posts, any content we create. So if they say any content we create and they're doing blog posts, Google My Business posts, social posts, that means that once you leave them, if it's proprietary property of theirs, they may even delete all of those posts that they've done for you. So that's also very important. Number four, this is essentially, just kind of repeating question number three, but with very specific services. So you'll definitely want to ask that too. And then number five is, do you have any former clients that you created a website for that you can send to me as a reference, as well as case studies? So the website creation reference is good, just so that way you can see, kind of what they've done in the past. And then you can also speak with that client, just to kind of see how that experience went and if they were able to keep their website. And then the case study part, if you're doing marketing, the case study part, you're definitely going to want to ask for, just so that way you can see that, the proof is in the pudding, essentially, and they're doing what they say. But that is pretty much the FAQ on website ownership. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.